guys, it's Eshani, aka Total Makeup Junkie 101. So today I have a video that is kind of the opposite of a product's not worth the hype. This video is going to be all about makeup products that have been hyped up. I guarantee you that you've heard of them before, but these products are actually worth the hype. We all know those products that are just super hyped up, watching other YouTube videos, watching other YouTubers. You know the products that everybody talks about, and I know sometimes you're probably thinking in your head, so many people are talking about this particular product, can it really be that good? So today I'm going to be breaking it down for you guys, and I pulled out 10 of, in my opinion, the most hyped up things that I genuinely think are amazing. These are products that are, most of them are in my daily rotation all the time. Some of these products I may switch out and use other things, but I always end up coming back to these because they're amazing. They are 100% worth the hype. I would completely and totally recommend every single product I talk about in today's video. So we're gonna go ahead and just jump right into it. I'm gonna start off with an eye palette that I guarantee you've heard of if you've seen any other YouTuber's video. This is a palette that gets a lot of love, and it's because it is amazing. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. I guarantee you that you've seen it before, but it is one of the best warm toned eyeshadow palettes. I feel like for almost every skin tone there is a good highlight. There are perfect transition colors in here. There's a good mix of matte with a little bit of shimmer, and they are just perfect, super blendable, very easy to use. The mattes are a little powdery depending on what brush you use, but I do feel like that makes it just really, really easy to blend and to work with. This is the eyeshadow palette I have on my eyes today. I'm not using any other shadow. I just use this palette solo, and I have done looks using this palette that range from fairly neutral, just slightly warm if you just kind of stick to these colors over here, and then by pulling in these kind of reddish or orangey colors, you can take it really, really warm toned, and I love the versatility of it. Next up, let's go ahead and talk about a concealer that, I'll be honest, it took me a little bit of time to actually come around to this one. I wasn't super crazy about it the first few times I used it, and then it definitely grew on me, and this is the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. This concealer, I know, is so hyped up. I know it was sold out for the longest time, and I know recently Tarte released a bunch new shades in it too, because I think the shade range was very limited in their initial release. This is a concealer that is super opaque, very pigmented. It's not a concealer for those of you guys who are looking for, you know, a light kind of like no makeup look. This concealer will definitely take you from like 0 to 100 real quick. It's really good though. Because it's not super thick or cakey, I can blend it out with my beauty blender or even a brush, and it does give full coverage. I use this shade, which is tan, under my eyes. It's a little bit light for my skin tone, but it works perfectly as like an under eye concealer slash brightener. The one thing I wasn't crazy about initially is that I felt like it creased on me, but I do set this with a powder like the one I'm about to talk about shortly, and I have no issues with it creasing throughout the day as long as I set it. Speaking of the hyped up powder that I think is completely and totally worth the hype, the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder. This stuff is the bomb. I've had this exact container for definitely over a year, and I use it every single time I do my makeup. I rarely reach for another powder, and I still have at least half of the container left. So this stuff will last you forever. It is fairly translucent. Now, if you do kind of pack it on, it will start to look a little white, but I have a pretty true tan complexion, and this doesn't give me any sort of white cast or anything. Just as an FYI, I am wearing the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer under my eyes today, and I did set my entire face with this Laura Mercier powder, so you can see it doesn't give me any sort of white cast. It just sets everything beautifully. It's not one of those loose powders that's so finely milled that when you open the container, powder just flies into the air everywhere because I really don't like loose powders like that. I've applied it with my beauty blender. I've applied it with brushes. It works beautifully every single way. It's just the best. Speaking of the beauty blender, my next hyped up product that I think is 110% worth the hype is the original Beauty Blender sponge. This is a very, very expensive makeup sponge. I believe it retails for $20 at Sephora, but let me tell you, there is no other makeup sponge that I have tried that even comes close to the results you get with this. The Real Techniques one is fairly good. It is a fraction of the price of the Beauty Blender, but in my opinion, there's just something about this rounded shape, the material it's made of, the little point, it just works beautifully. I bounce in my foundation with the butt end of it, and then I use this tip to kind of blend out my concealer. I sometimes use this for cream highlight. I use it for cream blush. It's just the best sponge. I use my beauty blenders for about 3 to 4 months before I replace them. So when you break it down that way, I mean, you're really only paying like $5 a month to use an amazing, amazing sponge. The next hyped up product I wanted to talk about is a little bit of like a grouping of products, but they are the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pencils. My personal favorite one is the brow definer. I use it in the shade Ebony, and the reason I like this one over the Brow Wiz for my brows is because it is a little bit of a thicker pencil, and it kind of has this like triangular tip to it. And because my brow hairs are already so thick, I feel like this pencil just blends in a lot better with my natural brows over the Brow Wiz, which is the thinner pencil that everybody loves and uses. I did used to use the Brow Wiz before the brow definer came onto the market, and ever since I, converted over to this one, I have never looked back. I think I've purchased like 4 or 5 of these, and I love them. I will never use anything else. It's the perfect consistency. It's the perfect color. It's not too creamy, but it's just creamy enough. It's just perfect. The next product I want to talk about is a very, very hyped up product that I think basically put this brand on the map, and that is the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Pressed in the shade Opal. I know that there are so many other highlighters. I mean, companies are just popping out highlighters like it's going out of style. So there are so many new highlighters, and I feel like sometimes we kind of overlook the old school classic highlighters. This is one of the very first highlighters I had in my collection, and to this day, it is still one of the absolute best. Becca kills it with their highlighter formula. It's super, super smooth, very creamy. It lasts a good amount of time. This can go really, really subtle if you use it with like a stippling brush, but it can very easily get to a super metallic state on your skin as well. I know a lot of people use this as eyeshadow as well as a face highlight, and it works beautifully both ways. It's just a phenomenal powder, and like I said, these are expensive, but this is the product that I think basically put Becca on the map, and for a very good reason. This highlighter in Opal is gorgeous. Next up, I want to talk about some more eyeshadows. Now, this is a brand that got started off of their eyeshadows, and they've recently come out with a whole bunch of new products, and I do feel like sometimes their eyeshadows are being overlooked now, but they are 110% worth the hype that they get, and those are the Makeup Geek single eyeshadows. Obviously, I have mine in this Sephora Z palette. It's actually a double-sided Z palette, and these are not even all of my Makeup Geek shadows. This is just my go-to Makeup Geek palette, and I do have a full video on exactly what colors are in here. I'll go ahead and link that video down below in case you guys want to know exactly what's in here, but just to let you know, I have kind of like a warm side of the palette, and then I also have like a cool side of the palette, and I reach for this palette so much. Like, I know their colors: Creme Brulee, Frappe, Latte, Cocoa Bear, Corrupt, Bada Bing. These are all very classic colors. Bitten is another one I absolutely love. There are so many phenomenal Makeup Geek shadows. She also has her foiled shadows. I have some of those in here as well. She also has her duochrome shadows. I have some of those in here. So there are just some beautiful shades. Makeup Geek shadows are relatively affordable as well. I know we see a lot of people reaching for their Makeup Geek shadows when they do tutorials and stuff like that, and sometimes you can think, are they really worth it? Like, so many people use them, but honestly, they are phenomenal. The next hyped up product I wanted to discuss is MAC Fix Plus. This is a product that I initially thought was basically glorified water, and to be perfectly honest, it is a little bit like that, but there is something magical about MAC Fix Plus. I've said it many, many times over, but this is not a setting spray. It's not going to make your makeup last longer, but I almost consider this like a facial beautifier spray. That sounds really strange, but basically I put this on right after I'm done with my makeup, after I've, set with powder and everything, and this will take away any of the makeup cakiness, any of the areas on your skin where you feel like, ooh, like my skin's a little dry and flaky here, but it's a little too oily here. What do I do? Just spray some Fix Plus on that. Or if you feel like, ooh, I went a little crazy on the powder, I definitely shouldn't have applied powder foundation and then a powder blush on top of that, throw some Fix Plus on that. This is like a saving grace type product. I really, really love it. Now, the one I have here, it's kind of in this lightly pink container because this is the rose scent that they released as a limited edition like a year ago, but the original Fix Plus comes in a little bit of a grayer bottle, and I feel like they all work the same. This one just smells really, really good. The next product I wanted to talk about is a liquid liner that I think is 110% worth the hype. I love it so, so much. It is the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner in the shade Trooper. As you can see, I have it in this little mini size right now, but I do have a full size waiting for me in the wings once I finish this. If you guys follow my videos regularly, you probably know that I've recently been obsessed with the Pony Cosmetics Pegasus Liquid Liner, and I absolutely love that. I love it, love it, love it. But this is the liner that is, in my opinion, very, very hyped up. It's basically my backup to the Pony Cosmetics one, and because I have it in this mini size right now, I stick it in my purse and I just take it with me in case I ever need to touch up like the inner corners or anything. This is a pretty traditional pen style liquid liner. It does have a brush tip instead of a felt tip on the end, and I personally feel like the brush tip is a little bit easier to use than a felt tip. I actually used this liner today to create the wings I have on my eyes, and I love it. It's amazing. It is black. It's not super, super matte, but it's also not super glossy. It's just kind of like a satin finish liner, and it does last a really good amount of time. I wouldn't say it's completely waterproof, but I haven't had any issues with it smudging or flaking or fading. It's amazing. Alrighty guys, wrapping up this video now, the last product I wanted to talk about is not a makeup product. It is a fragrance brand that I wanted to talk about, and that is Jo Malone. I did recently talk about the Jo Malone body cream in a favorites video not too long ago, and I did want to let you guys know that the Jo Malone fragrances, they're technically called their colognes, are amazing. The scents that Jo Malone has are just so unique. I haven't smelled a single Jo Malone fragrance that I thought, oh yeah, this smells just like something else that I already have. I love this one. This is the Mimosa and Cardamom scent, and it's a really nice, kind of like a unisex scent. It, to me, smells like sweaters. I don't even know a better way to describe it. This scent really reminds me of the fall and winter time for some reason. It just reminds me of wearing a sweater outside in the crisp fall, and the air is just so clean, and you just smell this and you smell really good. I love it. I also have the Wood Sage and Sea Salt one, which I know is very, very popular as well. It's another one that's kind of slightly musky, very unisex. It's a really, really nice scent. I would say that if you want to splurge on something a little more luxury, a really nice fragrance for you or for someone you love, Jo Malone is definitely the way to go. I always buy it in the 1 ounce bottles, which they are, they're expensive. So even the 1 ounce is pretty pricey, but they also come in, I believe, like a 2.5 ounce or like a 3 ounce or something as well if you wanted to get it in a bigger size. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up this video. These are the top 10 hyped up products that I genuinely love and reach for practically on a daily basis. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments down below if you guys are interested in seeing an underrated makeup products video, or even an overrated makeup products, like products that are not worth the hype type video, because I have some products cooking up in my brain and I can definitely put a video together like that if you guys are interested. In case you guys want to see my most recent upload, I will go ahead and link it up here, and if you guys haven't subscribed yet, my subscribe link will be down here. I'll also put a couple other video suggestions over here that I think you guys might be interested in case you guys can't get enough of my content. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys in my next video on Monday. I will see you then. Bye!